As we zoom further out, we've got another area of strong rotation up here just to the south of Bluntstown. So again, this is our tornado warning at this moment in time. Most of this is for Liberty County, most of Calhoun County. That tornado now moved past you at this point in time, but you can see that lightning uptick there, and certainly the possibility that a tornado is on the ground is certainly there. I'm going to go back over and check out our CC here just to see if we got any debris being lofted up into the air. So not a confirmed, but certainly the possibility of a tornado is certainly there. Tallahassee radar making that quite evident at this point in time. Right where we see that couplet here, so where the red is meeting the blue, showing us some very strong wind gusts in both directions away and toward the radar. So seeing maybe the strongest velocity couplet potentially since we had the confirmed tornadoes earlier showing up now. So that is again moving just to the right around the Estefanolga area, just past Mosquito Landing and Gun Landing. As well, we've got another tornado warning. I'm going to toss it back over to Kristen quickly to give us some more information. Kristen.
Yeah, thanks, Ross. I just wanted to alert you that there is a new tornado warning coming also for southern Gulf County. It's the waterspout that we have been watching across the area as well. If I show you here, looks like just to the south there of Port St. Joe, there's going to be a newly issued tornado warning coming from the National Weather Service. So just a heads up for folks in that area. You do want to seek shelter as quick as you can. Of course, on the map here, once it populates, we are about to have 2 tornado warnings. Just want to let you, Ross, know that I saw that in the chat to let you know that there is another area of rotation down towards the south and a potential tornado developing there as well.
Yeah, we got 2 areas of rotation. One, a tornado warning that is populated on our map. Another one that we know is coming right around Port St. Joe as well. So 2 areas of rotation bouncing around between radars here. Just to give you a better idea, where you can actually see the water spout here much more clearly on our radar. But that is moving toward Port St. Joe at this moment in time. I'm going to zoom all the way in, not to mitigate the tornado that potentially is on the ground in Liberty County, but that's moving toward mostly unpopulated areas. This is moving right toward Oak Grove. If you're in Oak Grove, if you're in Port St. Joe, you need to be in your shelter now. You have very minimal time, even though this tornado warning is just now being issued. This is a water spout right here. This is getting ready to move ashore. So Port St. Joe, Oak Grove, Niles, all through. This is basically downtown Port St. Joe and on the south side of Port St. Joe, headed toward 30E. So again, zooming all the way in here, this is Madison Street, Long Avenue. This is likely going to be coming ashore somewhere right around there, and then quickly moving inland towards State Highway 384. If you're anywhere along those areas of State Highway 384, certainly want to be getting in your shelter now, but everything in Port St. Joe should be in your shelter if you are south basically right when you cross into Port St. Joe. So when you come across the bridge, the Intercoastal Waterway, everything south of that bridge, you need to be in your shelter because the waterspout likely just came ashore. So new update here, likely waterspout just coming ashore at this moment in time, just around the Oak Grove area. So right there where you see that rotation, that is certainly where we do have that strongest rotation happening right through here. So that is where we potentially could be seeing a tornado at this point in time, a tornado warning for that area in southern Gulf County. We also have a tornado warning that is further up to the north of Weewahitchka with this rotation that is moving through Calhoun County. And if I can get the map to cooperate for me, that would be better. But right through here to the south of Bluntstown, this is moving basically just off to the east of Bristol. So Bristol is right through here, but populating in. So the south side of Bristol, as you go down to County Road 12, I would say North P Ridge Road. If you are on the south side of North Peak Ridge Road, Woods area, County Road 67, this is probably more or less National Forest. White Springs, I would certainly all through these County Road areas as well, to the south of White Springs. You want to be getting in your shelter as well. I know this looks like it's in general going to go just off to the south and just off to the east of Bristol at this point in time. So Bristol, I know you are in the tornado warning, but at this moment, the tornado well off to your south. So unlikely that you're going to be seeing that tornado actually come in your direction. So right here, that is where we potentially could be talking about a tornado on the ground right there, and moving in this general direction is where we are going to be seeing that. So that is to the south and east of Bristol at this point in time. As we zoom a little bit further out, I can kind of put a timeline on this for you as well. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll put where the tornado is, and then we'll draw this out. And we'll go to about 25. So that means Woods, White Springs, Lowry, Sycamore, Juniper, as well as Greensboro, all of those areas, that is where the tornado potentially could be heading as we do have that. So again, if you're in any of those locations, you need to be getting in your shelter. That'll be just off to the east of Bristol. Again, strong rotation right now toward the Woods area at this point in time. But zooming in once again on the south side of Bristol, I would say south side of Bristol, south side of Blountstown in the Liberty County area. That's where we could potentially be talking about a tornado working through Liberty County. So right there on the Woods area, County Road 67, south side of Northwest P Ridge Road. I want to go back over to CC just to see if we are picking that up. So that now looks like a confirmed. I would think that they're going to confirm this as a tornado at some point in time. It says, or maybe not. Maybe they're not going to. That looks like a dropout anyways, but maybe that's just a trick of the eyes on the radar. It looks certainly to be in close with our couplet too, so I would bet that that is a tornado at this point in time. Let's go over here. Let's double check on a couple of different locations and see. Less impressive on our radar, but certainly the possibility is there that we could be talking about a tornado as well right through that location. Not seeing that. There's still a CC dropout there too, so it's possible that could be a confirmed tornado at this point, working right down the road from the Woods area. So in Liberty County, Woods going down County Road 12 toward Estefanoga. That looks likely where we could potentially be talking about a tornado on the ground. Did they ever warn the Port St. Joe one?
No, they said they were prepping it, but nothing's come out of it.
Okay, so they lied to us. So yeah, that was possibly a water spout. It may have dissipated, which may be why they decided not to go ahead and throw a warning out on that, but certainly that was an impressive looking reflectivity, and certainly did see something that could have represented a tornado moving ashore, at least a water spout moving ashore and becoming a tornado before lifting. That possibility is there, but certainly still seeing rotation here just to the south of Blountstown. Our storm relative velocity highlighting it very nicely for us, exactly where we do have this rotation. So right through here, that's where we're seeing that rotation. Again, it's going to move in general in that direction. So it should stay to the south of the Bristol area. That will be eventually moving toward this highway, and I'm drawing a blank on that highway. I think it's 20. I think it's State Highway 20, yeah, so I was right. So to the White Springs area, eventually moving towards State Highway 20. If you're in the Lowry area, I'd be getting in my shelter. If you're in Hotsford area, I'd be getting in my shelter as well. Again, tornado likely on the ground or potentially on the ground just to the south of the Woods area, to the south of County Road 67, right along County Road 12, right there in the Woods area in Liberty County. I know a lot of Liberty County is national forest, so there may not be a ton of people living through that direction or in that direction, but on the south side of Bristol, you certainly want to be in your shelter. Sometimes these things can kind of take a curve up, but that would put it more toward the White area as opposed to, or White Springs area as opposed to Bristol. But regardless, Bristol, Hosford, or White Springs, Hosford, I'd be getting in my shelter. That's the lowest level of your home, most interior room, as many walls between you and the outside as possible. A bathroom or a closet is typically that location. If you can do so, take blankets with you, take pillows with you, cover yourself up. You also want to have some sturdy shoes as well. Looks like they just continued the severe thunderstorm and then put a tornado possible tag on that. So they did not warn that one to the south, but we do have this tornado warning for Liberty County. That does go until 8 a.m. Central Time, so that will continue out. So instead of instead of putting a tornado warning out, they put a severe thunderstorm with a tornado possible tag on this storm. And this is a dangerous storm further off down here as well. It is producing some very strong wind gusts as well as some very heavy rain, possibly some water spouts and or tornado embedded in that heavy rain as well. And certainly still seeing the rotation and a nice hook signature here on this storm that continues to move through Liberty County. Nothing indicating that there's a tornado on the ground at this point. And that kind of confirms that. So that is not a CC dropout. That's just a bad pixel section of our correlation coefficient. So that's why it was not a confirmed. So no, not a confirmed. Looking at it, it looks like our velocity is starting to drop off and to become a little more, it looks like it's becoming a little more broad as well. So that's good news. Still seeing at least somewhat of a couplet there as well as some stronger velocities. Our shear rate kind of dropping off too. So right through here in this area to the south of Bristol, that's where we do have at least this rotation. Possible tornado right through there. That is the woods area, is right into the woods area now, moving toward White Spring. Again, not a ton here. Couplet is getting really, really broad, so you can kind of see where the winds are weak and the winds are stronger, kind of separating away from each other. That doesn't mean the tornado is getting bigger. That actually means the rotation aloft is getting more and more broad, so less likely that it's producing a tornado at this point in time. But that is going to continue to move up toward the White Springs. We could see this. We could see this tighten up at any point in time. That's certainly a possibility. But again, not seeing anything that indicates to me at this moment that there's a tornado on the ground. But certainly was a tight couplet just a few moments ago. If we go back here on our velocity or on our radar and put it in the loop, you can see right when it was showing some significant rotation right there as it was crossing over the Apalachicola River. That's where we did see that stronger rotation happen. It's actually the same couplet from our thunderstorm earlier, isn't it? Looks like it. Looks like the one that crossed over East Bay stayed around that same rotation, stuck around in the thunderstorm, and eventually looks like it may have produced another tornado as it was crossing over into Calhoun County. Right now it looks as if it has lifted, so that rotation is still there, but at least it looks like it has lifted somewhat. We also have a very strong thunderstorm moving through southern Gulf County as well as into Franklin County as well. So keeping this in motion for you here, and you can see that couplet showing up quite nicely. So where this storm starts to hook, and then you can follow along right where that couplet is. That is where that tornado warning is for. So right in there, right where you're seeing that ball, that couplet, that's where that tornado warning is for. But at the moment, not seeing anything that indicates that that is on the ground. But at the moment, right through there, that is where we still do have that couplet. So it is still showing up on radar, but it's definitely weaker than it once was. Our base velocity is also representing that as well. So right there, now just off to the south and east of Bristol. This is between County Road 167 and Northwest P Ridge Road. This is moving towards State Highway 20. I think this is called the White Springs area. So just off to the east of the White Springs area, that is where we do have that tornado potentially moving toward. And checking the National Weather Service chat once again, continuing the severe thunderstorm warning, or issuing a new severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. I'm assuming that is for this thunderstorm. Yep. So they'll likely let this expire. That does expire at 8 o'clock, so they may cancel that before they let it expire. But certainly there is still at least a couplet there. I'm going to toss it back over to Kristen here. But certainly at least we do see the radar signature that could indicate rotation. Certainly not looking as significant as it once did. And going further down, a very, very strong storm moving through Gulf County as well. This eventually will be working out, say, Indian Pass toward Apalachicola, and then eventually toward East Point as well. So all of those areas need to be concerned about what is a strong thunderstorm at this moment in time. Not tornado warned, but certainly could produce a tornado as it is a dangerous thunderstorm, what we're seeing anyways based on radar.
Yeah, certainly, definitely the case this morning. I would say a lot of these storms certainly are producing strong winds. We have not seen, thankfully, too many damage reports. Now, I will say a lot of this has come through in the early morning hours, and we, of course, have been urging you to stay home, don't go out. But very significant wind speeds coming in with this sort system, especially as we take a look right now. We'll switch over base velocity, which is where we look for areas of rotation, but I'm going to be pixel querying some of these winds here, picking up on the radar, and most areas down in southern Gulf and far western Franklin County already, radar is picking up on around 60 to possibly 75-mile-per-hour winds. Now keep in mind the radar is shooting up a little bit higher in the sky as this area is pretty far south of our latest radar that we're actually accessing, which is based out of Tallahassee. There is potential, though, that winds of around 50 to 60 miles per hour are mixing down to the surface. So that is certainly why we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. That does include central and southern Gulf County and extend all the way out through Franklin County as well as southern Liberty County. That will last until 8:45. So there's about an hour of a timeline on there. I do believe that as we head towards that 8:45 to even 9 o'clock time stamp, at that point, the severe weather threat should be over for just about the entire panhandle as the storms move closer to the Big Bend and start to impact more of the Tallahassee area. So that's good news that these storms will be clearing out quicker because their forward progress and motion is faster than anticipated. Going back to where we have our latest tornado warning, again, it does look like that's going to be mostly replaced with that severe thunderstorm warning also on the map. The warning is set to last until about 8 o'clock this morning. No word whether or not they'll expire it early or cancel it. So we will stay with you and just keep a close eye on that storm as well. But certainly noticing what Ross was pointing out earlier is that the general trend here has been weakening when it comes to regards to any potential rotation in the area. Nothing I see right now says that there is, or not says, but points out to me that there is a tornado trying to really form. Yes, still some broad rotations, still worth watching, but generally the trend here is that it has been weakening as it moves over and close to Highway 20 and to the northeast. So further away, this will be moving towards Greensboro as well as Quincy, as well as Midway, Tallahassee. They still have not seen most of this activity pushing through, but it will be making its way off towards the north and east. So putting this in play for you to show you the progress of the storms this morning. I do want to let you know if you live now in Calhoun County, Jackson County, Holmes, Washington, Bay County, or Walton County, or even further to the west, your threat of severe weather is completely over. It's really just where the line is right now, and areas to the east that still have the threat for heavy rainfall, as well as, of course, strong damaging winds and isolated spin-up tornadoes. If you're still dealing with some rainfall out there, but you're not seeing the heaviest of it, that doesn't mean that you have a severe threat anymore. So we'll likely see these showers continuing on the backside of this line over the next couple of hours. For example, Walton County is picking up on more rain. It's progressing along Highway 10 and will be moving towards the northeast. But again, where the main line is right now is where that severe threat is, and it will continue to pose a threat for eastern locations. Most of our central and western counties of the Panhandle no longer have a concern in regards to severe weather through the rest of the day. Now, you will notice it's been a pretty windy morning regardless of the storms moving in. We did have a wind advisory that was set to last until about, I believe, 8 to 9 a.m. Central Time. We may still be dealing with some breezy conditions on the back side of the front, but it's really on the front side, or the east side of the front, I should say, is where we do have the winds continuing to howl well ahead of this line. So keeping you up to date on the latest. Of course, we do have one severe thunderstorm warning in effect that includes central as well as northern areas of Liberty County, as well as Leon County, where that severe thunderstorm warning will last till 9 a.m. Central Time. And other areas, including Franklin County, southern Liberty County, and southern Gulf County, also have a severe thunderstorm warning set to last for about another hour or so. Strong damaging winds will continue to be the concern. Also on the map, you're seeing a tornado warning that was issued for eastern Calhoun County and western Liberty County, just to the east there of Blountstown. At one point in time, there was rotation significant enough to warrant a tornado warning. At this time, however, there is not very significant rotation ongoing, perhaps some weak and or broad rotation now east of Bristol over County Road 1641, State Highway 20, moving towards that way from the White Springs to County Road 67 area. Over towards Lowry as well. We'll keep an eye on this. I do believe they're probably going to keep this warning up until about 8 o'clock, and the good news is they at least have trimmed the warning. So other areas to the west there, from Bluntstown down through eastern Calhoun County now clear of that tornado warning. It does, however, still continue to exist for northern Liberty County. And one of the areas we have been talking about structurally, and I'll draw it out for you here, is where you can see this this kind of like backwards hook here, is where we do have the rotation ongoing, and that's where you'll see some of that rotation as we just showed you on our base velocity product, showing, of course, those winds where they're moving towards the radar and away from the radar. So structurally, yes, it does still look sound, but thankfully the velocity here, the wind data is not indicating any production of a tornado, and of course, if I show you where, if there were any debris, we would see something, but we do not see any drop-offs, so that's really good as well. So all of these factors right now are indicating to us that there is no imminent threat of a tornado right now. Still potential, we could see something spin up. So if you are in that red polygon, again, this is mainly in northern Liberty County, maybe, folks camping in the area even, give them a heads up whether or not there's a tornado. There are some strong winds and very heavy rainfall coming in with this system as well. So overall, the trend is generally really just to the east is where our threat for severe weather is ongoing this morning. Ross?
Yeah, we're still looking at that tornado warning continuing on until 8 o'clock. So another 5 minutes here, 8 o'clock Central Time. That is for northern Liberty County. So Bristol and Hosford, you're still in that. And while I'm not seeing anything that significantly points out any kind of rotation that should be showing up in that thunderstorm, continuing at least to see two areas here with possible rotation. And that's why they have continued this warning. So this is a warning where they're saying the possibility of a tornado does certainly still exist. We do have two areas of potential rotation there, but nothing that is really significant. You can kind of pick it out here in the lighter green areas. That is certainly where we do still have the possibility of a tornado, because these things can tighten up pretty quickly, but we're not seeing any debris being lofted up into the air, and our base velocities are not indicating any kind of significant rotation either. But there are a couple little spots here on that where we could potentially be talking about a tornado. So that's really near the Hosford area, just off to the west of the Hosford area, crossing over State Highway 20 now, as well as a little area of rotation did cross over the Bristol area as well. So if you were in the Bristol area and you had a big wind gust, it was probably from that rotation helping to mix some of that wind gust down. Probably not a tornado, but certainly could have been a downburst of wind as that rotation did move over the top of you. But again, most of this is a very broad structure on as far as the rotation goes, but there is still rotation there, and these thunderstorms where you're getting these hooks can produce tornadoes. So more specifically, what they're looking at is that one right there, even though this is really not all of that impressive as far as rotations go. This is moving directly over Hosford. So if you're in the Hosford area, out of an abundance of caution, I would be seeking shelter. I told you that several minutes ago, but certainly would at this moment in time as that rotation is approaching you. It's not super impressive, but that doesn't mean it won't tighten up very quickly and produce a tornado very quickly. We've seen that happen already this morning. So these storms are rotating, and any thunderstorms that are rotating in this environment can very quickly produce a tornado. And in this case, we're talking about a storm that is capable of doing so. And that rotation now directly over the Hosford area, that'll be moving up State Highway 65, eventually out of Liberty County up into Gadsden and Leon counties. This thunderstorm will be moving in that direction, but not seeing any lightning. That's a good sign. Also not seeing any debris. That's also a good sign. Typically, lightning is a sign of a strong updraft and friction, as well as the debris, obviously a sign that a tornado is on the ground and we're getting debris being lofted up into that updraft. So even though we do have areas of rotation here, not seeing anything that says to me that there's a tornado on the ground. The stronger area of rotation, the more impressive storm now is this little hook echo here that's moving directly over the Hosford area. So if you're in Hosford, I'd be getting into my safe place. That's the lowest level of your home, most interior room. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Make sure that you do take in there with you Storm Track 13 app, as well as other ways to make sure to stay warned. You want to cover yourself up. Bring closed-toes shoes that you can get out in case your place is hit and you have to step over debris. That's certainly always a good thing to do, especially as you're getting into that safe place. But nothing imminent here that says that there's a tornado on the ground, but certainly a couple of areas of rotation, one right there and then one broader area of rotation right over the top of Hosford at this point in time. So this is a storm that is capable of producing a tornado. As we look further down the line here, still a strong thunderstorm moving through Gulf County. This will be crossing the Apalachicola River and into Franklin County here relatively soon. Lots of lightning going along with that, so that's indication of a strong updraft on these thunderstorms. There's far more instability down here as well, as opposed to what we have is further north. So less instability up here. One little positive lightning strike showing up where we do have that rotation highlighting, but nothing that is imminent or saying that there is a tornado on the ground there, and they have expired that tornado warning. So this is now going to be dropped off. We do still have two dangerous, or really a squall line, one progressing through Liberty County here. This is going to continue to move off to the east, and what's more significant is a very dangerous storm that continues to press through southern ends of Gulf County, now into Franklin County. So Franklin County, I know you haven't seen much this morning just yet other than wind. Well, you're getting ready to see the storms as well. So a dangerous storm capable of producing a tornado. Nothing at the moment says there's a tornado out of this thunderstorm, but certainly a thunderstorm that could produce a tornado warning. And they are still seeing severe winds with this storm, even though they did expire that tornado warning. So those in Gadsden, those in Leon County, just across the border there, need to make sure that they are prepared for that thunderstorm as well, because they're going to be dealing with that storm that's capable of producing damaging winds. But we're going to return you to programming here, but keep it tuned right here, especially if you're in Franklin County or Southern Liberty County, as the potential for severe weather does still exist.